I'm Jessica Bernards from Portland Community College in Portland, Oregon. Today I'm going to talk about how to create a video quickly and easily using PowerPoint. So first what we want to do is start creating our video template in PowerPoint. Start with a clean and simple background. You don't want a template that you're using that ends up having a bunch of different colors on it and imagery, and maybe a bunch of the screen is, instead of it being white, so you can utilize the entire screen to write on and show your examples. Maybe it's just a small box. I really don't recommend using those. This is an example of a template that's already in PowerPoint that you can choose. That's just very simple. It does have a little bit on the bottom just to add a little bit of imagery in there, but not a lot. You can use, in PowerPoint, there's a ton of templates that you can pick from that are pretty clean and sleek, in my opinion. If you are wanting to branch out, online, there's a ton of free templates you can get. Slide Carnival is one of my favorite websites to go to find PowerPoint slides and templates. This is actually, Slide Carnival is where I found the template that I'm using for this video. So now once you have your template created, you will go through and you'll start making your slides on them. So you're going to write things in such as partial definitions and formulas. So you can see here we have the difference quotient is defined as follows, but I didn't complete this entire statement. So what'll happen is in the video is where that's going to pop up. And so that's really showing that part is getting emphasized. That's where I usually do handwriting in my videos. So at that point is where I'll be handwriting that out. So students are paying attention specifically to that part as well. And then what you'll want to do, and you can kind of see it here, and I'm going to show you on the next slide as well, is anytime there's an example, you want to have the directions written out for the example and the example problem itself, but not any of the worked out steps. So you can see here, I have example graph f of x equals log of x, and we have nothing worked out, but then I also have an XY coordinate plane on there. And this biggest reason is I don't want my work to be sloppy on these videos. I want it to look exactly how I would want my own students doing their work for me. And again, to just stress what we had on the last slide, here's a partial definition that students will be filling in and I'll be filling in as I'm going in the video. So I have it written out what the domain is, the ranges, the asymptotes, the points, decreasing, increasing, any of that stuff. So that way it's really emphasized in the video. So once you have that template, now you're ready to actually create the video. What the video is it's you, the instructor, filling in partial definitions and working out the examples. So you have that template, and now you'll actually go through and record yourself going through it. Just like if these were kind of guided lecture notes that you were doing in class and you filling those out in class as a lecture. I'm going to show you an example of how this looks.
Let's do it again. Now we'll do it for this function. So again, the difference quotient is f of x plus h minus f of x all over h. Okay, let's do our little thing to the side here. F of x plus h is going to give me negative 2 times x plus h squared minus 3 times x plus h plus 1.
I'm going to pause this really quickly. So what research has shown is that by you actually writing this out step by step and number by number, it really, for some reason, helps the brain process what is going on in this problem for students. So you'll also see that I use different colors to emphasize different pieces. I really recommend doing that as you're working through and creating your videos. So now you have your video template created in PowerPoint. You've got the partial definitions, you have your example directions. So now you're ready to record. I pulled up a PowerPoint presentation that I did for one of the sections in our college algebra course. So you can see I have a lot of slides here. So what I do, I create a PowerPoint template for the entire section. And then once I have that done, I'll separate them out to create the MP4s by objective level so that they're smaller videos. We don't want to have videos that are more than 10 minutes long because it ends up being too long for students to watch. So I'll go through here. Here's my slide that I haven't recorded on. You can see I've recorded already on slide 10. So I'm ready to go for slide 11. So what I'll do is I'll click slideshow and then I'll click record slideshow. This gets you to the recording area. When you're in here, check the settings before you start recording just to ensure that the microphone that you want to use for your recording is the one that's checked. If you do want to show your face, this is where you click camera, and you would actually pick where that your face is going to show up on the left-hand corner, bottom right-hand corner, upper left, upper right. All right, so now once you're ready to record, if you want to do handwriting, you'll click the pen or the highlighter. And I really recommend that you don't use red to write on it. For some reason, students have a really hard time seeing red. Yellow ends up being super bright. So I really recommend, if possible, stick with the blues and the greens and the purples, just because those are smooth, easy, beautiful colors to look at, and they're calming for students. So you'll pick the color that you want to use, and you can always change your pen color as you're going through your video, which I actually do recommend you do just to emphasize different things. So at this point is where you'll click on the recording button and you will do your recording. So you are going to click record, and then you write out all of the steps, any definitions, and it's going to record your handwriting. Or if you are using typing and using animations, it'll record as those animations are showing up and have your voiceover show up as well. Once that's done, so I'm going to pull up one where it's done. So now you have a completed slide. So you can see with this slide, if I click on the animation tab, you can see I've got the different recordings. So the recording is going to look like this. So it's going to be the media, and it's going to be your voiceover, and then also what you're writing. When you're ready to create this as an MP4, so after you have all of your writing and your voiceovers, then you're ready to go. So you're going to go to you're going to go to File, and we're going to click on Export. And then you click Create a Video. I usually put it as HD just because full HD can end up being a really large file size, and students really just need the HD. And you want it to use the recorded timings and narration. So that's what we've just recorded in that slideshow feature. And then you'll click Create Video. And at that point, it takes a while, just know that, but it'll end up creating an MP4 video that you're ready to go to put into your learning management system or to link out on YouTube to your students. So as you saw, I use a lot of handwriting in mine. So for annotations, I really recommend using handwriting if you can. To do that, you can use either a tablet or a computer that you already have that has writing capabilities. In my opinion, the Surface is the best way to go. If you have an Apple computer and an iPad that you can write on, you can also do this with your iPad showing up on the screen for your Mac. If you don't, there's a bunch of different really cheap writing tablets that you can get on Amazon. I showed two of them here. One of them's the Wacom tablet. They're both under $50. And these both work with a Mac and with a regular PC. So it'll actually record what you're writing on that screen on the PowerPoint. So this is another option if you don't have a tablet or computer at home, but do want to do the handwriting, really cheap, under $50. Just go to Amazon and type in handwriting or writing tablet, and a bunch of these will pop up. Now, if you don't want to do handwriting, or maybe you just have really bad handwriting, you can type it. So when you do the typing, what you'll do is when you create your PowerPoint video template, is you're going to have each of the steps of the examples and that partial definition, you'll have animated come up when you start recording. So you'll type those all out step by step, line by line, and create those animations for them to show up as you're talking about the problem. So that way everything's not showing up in one fell swoop where it can be really overwhelming to students, but it goes line by line for them to follow. And for some reason, visually, that really helps the brain process that. Again, use that animation feature. Definitely don't get too crazy with it though. Don't have steps line by line, twisting and twirling around as they're showing up. I really recommend using either just the appear animation or the fade animation to have them showing up. And then the last thing, if you are doing typing, definitely check with your accessibility department on if it's okay to use the already embedded equation editor in PowerPoint. Sometimes they prefer for JAWS and screen readers for you to use math type. So definitely check with them before you type out those formulas just to make sure that your PowerPoint will end up being fully accessible. Sound. So when you're doing your voice, you want to make sure it's good. So you can either use, a lot of computers have built-in microphones that are actually really decent. If you have AirPods, those are great to use. The microphone feature is really good. Just make sure if you have long hair that your hair is pulled back in a ponytail so it's not resting up against the microphone making a scratching noise. If you have headphones with a microphone, so most Apple products come with that. I'm sure Android phones do as well. You can use that. And then last, if you want to, you can buy a USB microphone. That's what I'm using to record on here. The one that I'm using is a Fifine, I think is what it's called, a USB microphone, and it's $45 on Amazon. This is also what our IT person at the college recommended to use. It goes on sale every once in a while. You can snag it sometimes for $30. And then last, just some recording tips. So create a key. Before you create the video, you want to have a key written out that you can kind of have in front of you. It'll make it much easier for you not to make mistakes. So in the key have step-by-step problems already done and then filled out definitions that you can just look at as you're creating that video. Try not to have any page numbers or section references in there, just because if you end up changing textbooks, or maybe a textbook moves from one edition to the next, and you don't want to have to go back and now redo your video because you talked about section 1.3, which is now section 1.2. So in my opinion, try to keep all page numbers and specific sections of a textbook completely at a minimum, if at all. Personality. So bring in your humor, fun, and enthusiasm. Don't just speak in a monotone way. Try to use different inflections in your voices. If you have a fun way for students to memorize things, definitely show that. If you have some mnemonics, show those. Do what you would do in class when you're lecturing, just to keep the students as engaged as possible for a math video. Video storage. So when you're done creating your video, where the heck does it go? So one of the places that I store my videos is on YouTube. And what I've done is I've created a video channel on YouTube just for myself. And I put all of these videos unlisted. So that way only people that have the direct link to the video, aka my students, are able to see the video. You want to be really careful to make sure that you make them unlisted and not public if you're using anything that could be a copyright issue. And then you can always put them into your learning management system, or our learning management system, we use D2L Brightspace. It has Kaltura in it. And so I sometimes have uploaded my videos into Kaltura, and what's kind of cool about that is it'll automatically close caption it for you as well. Quality video. So quality video is not an hour long in time. You want to try to keep them 10 minutes or less. So when you're creating your PowerPoint video, you can create an entire section all at once, which would end up being like an hour-long video. But then what's kind of cool is any of the slide recordings that you've done, stick with those slides. So I usually create a video for the entire section, and then I take each objective, I take the slides that go with each objective and create a new PowerPoint just with those slides. And again, when I move those over to the new PowerPoint, the slide recordings stay with them. And then I use that to create the MP4s. So that way for one section, there might be 4 or 5 videos students have to watch, but for some reason, having 4 or 5 10 minutes or less videos, they actually will do that more than opening one video that's 50 minutes long. Voice consistency. So make sure that it's you that's doing the video the whole time. Try to do it again, for the one section, try to do it in one fell swoop just to keep the volume at a similar level. And then if you are writing things out with your handwriting, or even using typing it out, make sure that you're using font or handwriting that is readable to students. And then last, definitely use animations. Don't have everything show up on the screen at once, but again, don't get too crazy with them. So that's my quick little tips on how to create a video at home using PowerPoint. My email address is listed here, and as well as my website, which is anyonecanbeamathperson.com. Hope you guys enjoyed this and are able to now go and create your own videos.